Hello everyone, I'm wanting to make a video today. I'm going to be in 2 Kings 5, and then I'm going to turn over to another place, but I'm going to read verses 1 through 5, 2 Kings 5, verses 1 through 5 in the King James Version of the Bible, a very familiar story about Naaman. And it says, Now Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a mighty man, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper. And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid, and she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, Would God my Lord was with the prophet that's in Samaria, for he would recover him out of his leprosy. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, Thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, Go, and I will send letters unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver, 6,000 pieces of gold, and 10 changes of raiment. So Naaman was an important man. Naaman was a big man, but he was in bad shape. When you're in, I've talked on other other videos about not being insulted, not being offended. Being insulted is a luxury for people who are not in trouble and that don't ever intend or plan on being in trouble. Naaman was a big man in bad shape. Leprosy is a disease that starts out small and then spreads all over the whole body. Lepers were required to call out when they came in contact with someone or in their presence that he was a leper. He had to declare and not keep it a secret. He would say, he would cry, unclean. It reminds me of the coronavirus. We're trying to be, separated from people, and this was a great thing, a great malady in that day. So no matter how big a person, man or woman, that you are, you're in bad shape if you're still in sin. Sin's like a leprosy. It starts out small and then it starts spreads all over our lives. Nobody is born a sinner. Nobody is born a big sinner. Every liar started out a little liar. Nobody started out a big liar, but liars are going to have their place in the lake of fire. No matter how big a person you are, if you hang around sinners enough, sooner or later they're going to tempt you to sin. It's like, he said for us not to be unequally yoked with sinners. And I don't care what kind of job you hold, what kind of title you have. If you have sin in your life, you're just a big man in bad shape. It's like driving a team of horses, one wild and one tame. There's a battle going on to see who's going to be in charge, who's going to lead. And every now and then the wild horse tries to take the lead. It reminds me of the story I've told before about the Indian father telling his Indian son, there's 2 wolves within you, son. There's a good one and a bad one. And they're fighting over who's going to be in charge of you. And the little Indian boy said, who's going to win, father? And the father said, whoever you feed, that's the one that's going to win. Reminds me of the rich young ruler who came to Jesus. He was a big man. He had plenty of money. But your money is only good this side of the grave. It's no good on the other side. I know my uncle, he was a big cut up, and he said if he couldn't take it with him, he wasn't going. But he did go, and the next person will too. You can have the riches of King Tut, but if you don't have Jesus, you're just a big man in bad shape. I want to read you about King Uzziah, if I can turn over here to it. I'm going to have to read a little bit. I'm in the King James Version of the Bible. I'm in 2 Chronicles 26. It said, then all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in the room of his father Amaziah. And he built Eloth and restored it to Judah after the king slept with his fathers. 16 years old was Uzziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. And there's going to be some names in here I may not get right or skip over. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah did. And he sought God in the days of Zechariah, who had understanding in the visions of God. And as long as he sought the Lord, God made him to prosper. And he went forth and warred against the Philistines, and brake down the wall of Gath, and the wall of Jabneh, and the wall of Ashdod, and built cities around Ashdod among the Philistines. And God helped him against the Philistines, and against the Arabians that dwelt in these two places. And the Amorites gave gifts to Uzziah, and his name spread abroad even to the entering in of Egypt, for he strengthened himself exceedingly. Moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem, at the corner gate, and at the valley gate, and at the turning of the wall, and fortified them. And he built towers in the desert, digged many wells, for he had much cattle, both in the low country and in the plain. Husbandmen also, and vine dressers in the mountains, and in Carmel, for he loved husbandry. Moreover, Uzziah had a host of fight men that went out to war by bands, according to the number of their count, by the hands of, and it tells two names, the ruler under the hand of Hananiah, one of the king's captains. The whole number of the chief of the fathers of the mighty men of valor were 2,600, and under their hand was an army, 300,000, 7,500, and they made war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for them all throughout the host shields and spears and helmets and habergeons and bows and slings to cast stone. And he made in Jerusalem engines invented by cunning men, to be on the tower and up on the bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal. And his name spread far abroad, for he marvelously helped till he was strong. And I'm just going to tell you the rest of it if I can. Uzziah was a great man. He was a great man in his day. And he was one of the most popular kings that ever lived. He fortified Jerusalem against enemies. He invented weapons of modern warfare and dug wells. He had brought in the first period of irrigation. He was a big man, but one day his bigness went to his head. He had a practice that was honorable. Before a big battle, he'd go by the temple for the priest to burn incense and pray over him and bless him. And this one particular day, he went and the priest hadn't got there yet. He felt like he needed to go on. I guess he was in a hurry. And he started doing the burning incense and other things. And while he was there, the priest came in and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm the king. I just do whatever I want to do." And he said, "You may be the king, but in here, you're not authorized to do anything." And so the king began to bless him out and dress him down. Yeah, you know how it is when somehow people think they can get the preacher told. I was under Brother David Jones for 13 years, and I never gave him any problems. If he was right here, I could say that, because I tried to be, I didn't call him with any problems. I tried to be a model member. But it's a dangerous thing to come up against the man of God. We've read that in Romans 13, which is in the New Testament. But while he was telling the priest off, he broke out in leprosy. And Uzziah died a leper. He was still a king. He was still a big man, but he was in bad shape. He was a leper. I shudder to think. I shudder when people talk to the minister any kind of a way. You know, Miriam, Moses' sister, he broke out while blessing out the man of God. Two things happened. They couldn't go forward for 7 days. She had to go outside the camp for 7 days. She stopped the progress, and the Spirit of God left for a time. When you start blessing out the man of God and doing those sort of things, that's what's going to happen to any church. That's what happens when members of a church disrespect the man of God. David got too big. You may be a big man today, but I tell you, if you're in sin, you're in bad shape. Naaman was a big man, but probably couldn't fully associate with his family like the coronavirus. Maybe his wife would fix the meals and push his plate under the door or something like that. I don't know how they worked that. And maybe she had to break the plate every time after you eat. And I'm here to tell you, you could be a big man and still be in bad shape. I've enjoyed getting this to you today. May the Lord bless you until we get together next time. And I've enjoyed it. May God bless you.